Hello, I'm Daniel. I'm going to tell a story today called The One Finger, and it is from the text called The Gateless Gate. And this story is from ancient China. And in the story, there's a famous Buddhist teacher named Juji. Juji. And Juji did this thing where whenever somebody asked him a question, he would just hold up one finger. So kind of seems like kind of a jerk of a teacher, right? You'd ask a question and he would just hold up one finger. He just wouldn't answer your question. But somehow people flocked to him as a wise teacher, but he just didn't answer questions. He just raised one finger. And that's sort of, I think the point of the one finger is to get people to maybe not ask so many questions and just be in this moment and just practice. That's kind of the point. But he really had this reputation as the dude that just holds up one finger. And Juji was in a large monastery and he had a lot of students. And one day there was a visitor to the monastery and Juji wasn't around. But the visitor asked a student, a young novice monk, like a kid, essentially. And because kids would become monks in those days. And I think they probably still do in some places. But anyway, this kid is a monk. And this visitor asks the boy, he asks him, hey, what is the teaching of Master Juji? What is his essential teaching? And the boy just goes like this. And the man leaves. And later on, the boy is meeting with Juji, Master Juji, and Juji says, what happened today? And the boy says, well, a visitor came and he asked, what is your essential teaching, Master? And so I answered him. And the Master says, what was the answer that you gave? And the boy goes like this. And this is where the story kind of goes off the rails. And again, a lot of these stories, I don't know that we need to take them literally. I don't know. But the story is that then the master grabbed a sharp knife and grabbed the boy's finger and cut it off. Okay. And so the boy is yowling in pain. And then the master asks, what is my essential teaching? And the boy holds up his no finger. And the story is that the boy became enlightened in that moment that he held up his no finger. Now, that is creepy as hell, right? But what can we take from that story? I think the Master Juji is telling us something about Buddhism in general. There are many, maybe not many, but there's a trend. Some Buddhist teachers just imitate their teachers. And that is especially striking when it was, a foreign teacher, a first arrival to America teacher from Korea or Japan, and the student is an American. And when the student is teaching, they imitate their teacher's accent or slow way of speaking. And that happens, and I find that creepy and weird, but that does happen. People will quote Master Sung San and say, "Don't know mind," and why, right? But that's a trend that happens, and that is, I think, sort of what the master's warning about here. He's saying, essentially, you don't have it right if you're just copying me. You don't have it right if you're just copying me. So the boy just copies him, and the master's not happy about that. Okay. The point is that we need to find our own. If we're going into teaching, we need to find our own teaching and not just copy our teacher, because what's the point of that? What's the point of that, right? So, if I try to teach just like Master Shengyan, well, then you might as well read Master Shengyan's books instead of listening to me, right? So it's about finding your own way. And I like to say Buddhism is not about the Buddha's spiritual journey. It's about yours. And we get caught up. That's why I don't like to talk about the Buddha very much. Some teachers talk about the Buddha a whole lot, and I don't like to do it very much because I think we can get caught up in that. And I think that Buddhism isn't about the Buddha. Isn't about the Buddha. It's about you, and it's about me. It's our journey. And the boy in the story was making it about Master Juji. He wasn't making it about himself. He wasn't making it about the teachings or anything else. He's making it about this one thing that the master did. And I think Juji wanted him to find his own way. Find his own way rather than just imitating. So that's what the story's about. So people would come to Master Juji and they would say, what is the true meaning of Buddhism? Or do we fall into cause and effect? Just one. Just stop asking me dumb questions, basically. Not dumb questions, but sort of like, I can't give you anything. You have the answer already. That's sort of the message of the one finger. But the boy didn't become awakened until he came up with his own, which was holding up his not finger. And that it's a really creepy story, and there are really creepy stories, and we have to sort of take them with a grain of salt. I don't know if Master Juji was a real person. I don't know if he cut off a kid's finger. I hope he didn't. I think he didn't. I think it is thematically the kind of guy he was, though. He was an asshole. He was an asshole, but he was wise. And he encouraged people to think for themselves and find their own way to express things. And we should be doing that too. We should not be just mimicking our teachers. We should not be just doing what's been done before. There are thousands of ways to express these teachings, and it's up to us to find out new ways to practice, new ways to express things. So the answer can't be this because it's already been this. We don't just want to copy. And that's hard because the truth is that there are teachers that we love, and it'd be very easy to just copy them. But just copying people is not the way. The way is doing your own diligent practice and seeing where it leads you. That is the way. That is the way. So that was the one finger. And there are other stories as horrifying as this one, and we'll get to them maybe. So I hope this hasn't been alarming to you, but I think there is a lot of meaning there. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and have a good day.